On December 12, 1984, Ramiro Avila, also known as Junior, was born in Brownsville, Texas, a border city with deep roots to the Catholic Church and to Mexico. Growing up as Junior, it was 3 years before the disappearance, Kimberly came out to her parents. The new name and new look could have shaken up any family's dynamic in the Catholic community. But for Yvonne Avila, her sister, the change didn't change a thing.
She would tell us at the house, during the week, I'm Junior. Weekends, I'm Kimberly.
Kimberly would go downtown Brownsville, which is a known area for transactional sex work, and would be the last spot where Yvonne would see her sister.
This is the last place where I dropped off Kimberly on the night of May 13, 2017. I said, let's go home. Let's go home. You know, I had a feeling like something was not right. Let's go home. Last thing he told me, she told me she would get off the truck and hug me and kiss me and say, I love you. Last words that day was, I'll see you in the morning. That morning never came.
When Kimberly wasn't calling, her family went to work frantically, posting up flyers downtown with 2 photos, one of Junior and the other of Kimberly. One door they stopped at changed their lives forever when they met Oscar Lopez, who was in charge of the Valley AIDS Council at the time, and their office is in downtown Brownsville.
I'm not much for being one of those people who believes in higher powers, but something drew us to each other because we purposely don't have too much signage on the door so that there can be privacy for people and for them to stumble upon us and ask for permission to put up flyers for their missing child who happens to be part of the community we target. Yeah, I think somebody higher up was, possibly putting us in each other's path.
A missing persons family is finally speaking publicly. News Center 23's Derek Garcia is in downtown
Now that
Brownsville.
quickly led to the first press conference. That first press conference was a packed house. Every media outlet was there, including myself, and many in the room suspected that this is not a normal missing persons case because of the red flags Oscar pointed out.
Yeah, when someone who is LGBTQ goes missing, it's usually foul play. We think the worst, especially in border communities, in communities where machismo and transphobia are rampant. And so they were scared, and we were scared for them.
May 25th, 2017, Brownsville police did a prostitution sting operation. And if you're following the timeline, the timing of that was suspicious. A missing persons case was filed, a lot of media attention, so the pressure is on them to get answers. Now that roundup of police bust for the prostitution was possibly a big mistake by the Brownsville Police Department.
Okay, so that kind of scared the fish away, for lack of a better term. And so here come the police, and then now they're coming to us for help. Well, we're not going to cooperate with the police because they're just arrested us.
The tactics they used didn't play well in the community, and people clammed up. They never apologized. They didn't seek advice from those of us who work with that community. They kind of screwed up, washed their hands of it, and walked away almost from the mess they made.
After the sting, radio silence to media. There were no tips, no leads, no answers to the questions that the family was asking that they were desperate for, until
They're now looking for an anonymous caller.
June 7th, 2019. There was this hastily put together press conference that was called for at Kimberly Avila's parents' home about an anonymous call that came in more than a year ago in March of 2018.
Give us a call back so we can try to get more information to see if it leads us in the way that we're looking for.
Maybe you're scared. Maybe you don't want to say anything, but believe me, any little thing is gonna help.
Now, to the family's knowledge, that caller never called back. And what was said on that call wasn't told to Kimberly's parents or Yvonne, and the withholding of information has only hurt their trust with the Brownsville Police Department. An issue that comes up in missing persons cases is that a person has the right to disappear, and fewer resources are put in because a crime hasn't been committed. However, in Kimberly's case, the family said that there was no reason for her to run away, and given all the red flags, they believe that police should have done more in the beginning. Many in the LGBTQ+ community believe there is a bias in policing, but this isn't just one department with the Brownsville PD. It's a systemic issue in law enforcement.
My name is Madeline Kroll. I'm a transgender woman and a political scientist here in the Rio Grande Valley.
When a police department says that we are doing everything we can, do you trust that?
There is a concept, again, known as strategic inefficiency, which is an issue where institutions, they're given input, what we tell them, but they don't quite understand. They only provide it in one way. And there's this image of the public, which they have, which is worthy of being served and protected. You say, I'd like something a little different, and they're going to react like, but we don't really know how to do that. So let's just basically keep you running around. And unfortunately, I think that would be the case, essentially what is experienced by the Avila family.
Do you believe police bias played a role in how Kimberly's case was handled?
Absolutely. If it's a cisgender white woman who goes missing, all of a sudden everything stops.
5 years have passed since the disappearance of Kimberly Avila, a transgender woman confirmed to be a commercial sex worker in Brownsville, Texas. The Brownsville Police Department admit that their tactics may have hindered getting answers after they conducted a prostitution sting just days after she was reported missing. A new lead is sending police down a path that may uncover what happened or what didn't happen.
I am very faith-driven. I am very faithful that there will be some type of closure here in the near future.
And that was a very confident Police Chief Felix Salceda in 2019 when he spoke at a vigil for Kimberly Avila. They sent this email in December of 2022. At this time, we are unable to conduct an interview about the Kimberly Avila case. The case is still ongoing and we are still awaiting any new leads. We will keep the family and the media informed of any new developments on that case. But it's hard for new leads to come in when flyers downtown have been torn down or vandalized. Brownsville police looked into who was doing it and questioned some people, but ended up being dead ends. And the theory Kimberly was abducted and taken across into Mexico, across the border, was ruled out.
I know that's for sure one thing that they did right away, and that was check the bridges. She never crossed. So on that end, we are very confident that she wasn't taken across.
So the question is, what's next?
Well, we have to build community because there is no community there to begin with. Because just because somebody's doing sex work doesn't mean that they've never been assaulted, doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to report an assault. So they need help from the police, and we now have established, and we know very well that the police need their help as well if there's any information left on the streets, because they ain't gonna talk to the cops.
And that's a heartbreaking possibility to a family who has only wanted answers as to where she is or what may have happened to Kimberly.
We need all the prayers, and I know God's gonna answer our questions. I know it's been 5 years, and maybe you were out here the night that she went missing. Please, if you remember anything about that night, or if you might have heard something, just call. Love one another. You know, you have siblings, sister or brother that might be gay, transgender. Love them, you know. Hug them, kiss them. Let them know how much you love them, because believe me, we wish we could tell. You know, she knew how much we loved her.